Now, before I begin this video, I understand that you can't go off of past seasons all the times. His role is different on his team. The personnel is different. Um, so I get it. It may not be like a trend per se. It's just a byproduct of what was going on each individual season, which is mimicking a trend. But I just want to say this though, for Laker fans' sake, you have to hope I'm right. Otherwise, man, it's just man. I mean, I don't see nothing else other than they can do other than trade the guy, man. But I will say this about Russell Westbrook. From watching him play the last couple of years, I would say since he went to Houston, I've noticed this. Uh, Me and the brother 78, we've talked about this watching Russ. Uh, he's gotten off to notoriously slow starts the last couple of years. Nobody's fault. He shouldn't be getting off to these slow ass starts. Um, but he has. Last year with the Washington Wizards, he missed a lot of games through the load management the first month. Because of his role, his numbers look good. He averaged 19 points. He averaged almost 10 rebounds. He averaged 11 assists that first month of the season. But he also averaged well over 5 turnovers a game the first month of the season. And he shot only 38% from the floor. Over the next month, he averaged 20 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. And his shooting percentage went up dramatically to 44%. And then I looked at the next month, he averaged 24 points. I think it was something like 9 rebounds, and he averaged 10 assists. And his shooting percentage was 45%. And the turnovers were starting to go down a little bit under 4 a game. You can always average a lot of turnovers, but you don't want it to be 5 and over. And then that last month, when he was player of the month in the NBA, he averaged almost 24 points. He averaged 13 rebounds. He averaged 16 assists and shot 44% from the floor and 75% from the foul line that last month of the regular season. So what I'm saying is, it's a possibility that he may start picking up his play as the season progresses. That's the only thing I can give you. I mean, other than that, I don't know what to tell you. I'm doing this video for the benefit of Lakers fans who obviously have buyer's remorse right now with Russell Westbrook. Um, the thing about it though, last year Russ just looked better toward the end of the season. He looked more explosive. Hell, even in the last month of the season, he shot 34% from three, which for him is Dale Ellis territory. His shot looks horrible right now. I mean, I've never seen Russell Westbrook since I've been watching him, like really, really been watching him, which is like since 2014, 15. I've watched games before, but I didn't really start becoming a fan of his until 2014, and I really became a fan of his after Durant left. But I've never seen him play these many games with virtually every performance being mediocre or poor. Sprinkled in there would be a vintage Westbrook performance, but it's been Russell Westbrook. So and I believe he's shooting under 40% from the floor. I don't know, man. Even James Harden is starting to wake up a little bit, even though I think it needs to be pointed out that he was playing against the Pelicans. You know, he had his. That's another knock I have on James Harden is that he frequently beats up on teams that are poor. Look at all of his great scoring performances They are always against teams that are bottom cellar dwellers in the league. And you can call me a hater all you want to, but the fact is there. The proof is in the pudding. How many of these vintage performances does he have in the playoffs? In particular, as you go deeper in the playoffs, he doesn't have any. He's always beating up on the Knicks when they were bad. He was beating up on the Bulls when they were bad. He was beating up on Cavaliers when they were bad. He was beating up against the Pelicans when they were really bad. You know, he was beating up on the Grizzlies when they were bad before John Morant improved that team. You know what I'm saying? Him, John Morant. You know what I'm saying? So he's always beating up on these bad teams, but where are these signature games against Kevin Durant when he was playing against him? Where are these signature 50-point performances against the best teams? Off the top of my head, I can only think of one game. I know I'm talking about James Harden, I was talking about Russell Westbrook, but I only can think of one damn game where James Harden had a great performance. And that was a 47-point game against, or 45-point game against the Warriors. When I think he hit like a miraculous three. He was being double teamed and he shot it and made it or some shit like that. Uh, and I do remember a 47-point game against the Clippers. I take that back. He had a 47-point game against the Clippers in the regular season. Those are only two performances I can think of. Everything else has always been against bad teams. But back to Russ, um, his role is different. He's older. He doesn't seem to have the same lift. Uh, Russ, who has never been a great defender, is regressing on that side of the court. When you're playing with LeBron James, you're just not going. I mean, I don't know. I know LeBron's not out there, but Russ doesn't. Look, man, let's just be honest. Russ doesn't seem to play very well now, at least, especially with other players. Like, Russ has the mentality of, I want to just take the game over. I want to get out there on the court and just excel all over the court. And I don't think that's not the mentality of a point guard. That's the mentality of a aggressive scorer type guy who just wants to dominate the game. And there's a time and place for that, but that's not always the case. That's not always what the team needs. And you really wish that a guy like Russell Westbrook would have had the services of a guy like Greg Popovich or Phil Jackson, Red Auerbach, Red Holzman, Hubie Brown, Bill Fitch, any great coach you can think of, Dr. Jack Ramsey in particular, any of those great coaches, Pat Riley. You think that he would have benefited so much if he had gotten that from the time he went into the league. He'd be probably a different player. But anyway, it is what it is. Tell me what you guys think.